how did we start this chapter off? Pythagorean theorem, right? It goes in the same order. So, y'all make sure you're listening. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. That's our first two problems. You just have to know what's A, B, and C. All right, this is C. I don't know C. So I'm going to do 8 squared plus 6 squared equals C squared. If I type that in my calculator, that's 100. Right? And then what do? Square root it. You can tell the answer should not be 100. My numbers 8, 6, and 100 don't make sense. But if I square root it, 8, 6, and 10, that makes more sense. Those are about the same size. Okay? Does that make sense, everybody? What I did was I square rooted it. And I got 10. Are we good with that one? Check. All right. The next one, same formula. Let me move this up. I just have different things for my A, B, and C. I have, well, does anybody just know this answer without even doing any work? It's a 3, 4, 5, I'm guessing, right? Some of y'all might know that. Okay? If you don't know that, that's fine. All right, 5 is your C squared. So that means I'll just do A squared plus 4 squared equals 5 squared. It's the longest side. It's the hypotenuse. So A squared plus 16 equals 25. Then what do I do? Subtract 16. So A squared equals 9. And again, same thing. To get rid of a square, we square root it. So A equals 3.
Does it matter if you do the
A or B? Is that what you're going to ask? A and B don't matter. C is the only one that matters. Like I could have done 4 squared plus B squared equals 25.
Okay, that's what we did, but I didn't know
Yeah.
if it just
No,
worked out.
A and B, it won't matter which one's which. C is the only one like definitely matters. Okay? Are we good with those? So Pythagorean theorem, that's your first 2 questions on your quiz. Okay. Then the third one, the next thing we learned was 45, 45, 90 triangles. So on this one, which you could use SOHCAHTOA on this as well, I think. Well, maybe. I don't know if it would give you the exact answer. So we'll stick with how we learned it. Let me just put 45, 40. If you read, it tells you angle B is 45. Well, if that one's 45 and that one's 90, that one has to be a 45 as well. So then, if I leave that on the board for you, but please know, in college classes, that's not on the board for you, okay? They're not going to do that. You have to just know it. So, your 45, 45, 90, I'm going to skip down. There's only one equation to use. H equals S squared root of 2. So, I would write that down. And then plug in, what do I know? Do I know H or S? Oh, and then that's great, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to find my hypotenuse. So it's just 14 square root of 2. That's it, I'm done.
Why do you not simplify it to 7?
Well, you don't have anything in the denominator. If it was divided by 2, then you would, but there's nothing to simplify on that one. Are we okay with that one? It'll be like that tomorrow. And then I said the next one was the same, because I looked at it real quick. It has the same number. It has 14, but is 14 our H or our S? Our S. Yeah, it's our H. Okay? So I'm going to scoot. Am I going too fast? Do I need to stop? We're good? Okay. So let me scoop this up, and we'll figure this one out. So I've got H is 14. 14 equals S square root of 2. Alright, now on this one to solve for S, I have to divide by the square root of 2.
So why? Why can't you do that on the other one?
Because the other one, it had H equals 14 square root of 2. We were solving for H. So that one says the hypotenuse is 14 square root of 2. There's nothing to move. You were looking for H. This one I'm solving for S. What's over there with it? The square root of 2. This one I do have something to move. Okay, so I have to divide by it. Does that kind of help?
Yes, ma'am.
It just depends on what you're solving for. So on this one, over here I get S. There's a problem with this. Do you see any answer choices that say that? No. Because you're not supposed to have a square root in the denominator. So you multiply by the square root of 2. Everybody good with that? It's basically multiplying by 1. That's why you can do it. So I get 14 square root of 2 divided by, what's the square root of 2 times the square root of 2? 2. And what's 14 divided by 2?
7.
That's where we get 7 square root of 2.
That is, I don't know how I got that answer, but I just did 14 divided by 2 way at the top.
Because of the square root?
Yes,
But
ma'am,
it was supposed to be 14 divided by the square root of 2. And then you have to do, it's called rationalizing the denominator. You can't have a square root in the denominator, which you'll get used to it. I mean, you want to get used to it before tomorrow for the quiz. But our whole unit circle is multiplying and dividing by square root of 2 and square root of 3 constantly. So you'll have to rationalize the denominator a lot. Which just means, so if you have, I'll write it one more time, 14 divided by the square root of 2, you can't have a square root. So you have to multiply by it. So that gets rid of it. I would get 14 square root of 2 over, what's the square root of 4? 2. And then you divide it, okay? So that's rationalizing the denominator.
Isn't another reason it's square root times the same square root equals that number?
Yeah, it's every time. It's a pattern because if I did the square root of 3 times the square root of 3, it's actually the square root of 9. What's the square root of 9? 3. But that we just shortcut it. When you square a square root, it's just the number underneath it. So yeah, that would just be 3. It's just one less step if you think of it that way. Okay. Oops, I sometimes messed up there. So sorry. It didn't crack or anything. Okay, next one. Did I step on it earlier?
I didn't roll the
I'll trade with you if I have to. If I mess it up. I'm just like in my element up here. I'm not paying attention to anything. Why didn't you say something to me, Logan? You're just back there talking about me and everybody else. And not
Teaching. I don't want to interrupt you.
No, you can. Oh no. Okay, let's see. Okay, it looks fine. Let's see if it works. It's cleared out. It's working pretty good.
So if it wasn't working,
If it's not working in a little while, I'll just trade with you. I'm putting them both
I
up
bought it
here.
for like $30, I think. From
I would trade if I needed to. Okay.
I'm at
3069. Oh, I'm recording this whole thing. All right. Boys, are y'all listening? Are y'all ready? Okay. 3069. This one, I know that's what I'm using because it's got the 60 degrees. After that, I think we move on to SOHCAHTOA. All right? So let's look at the 30, 60, 90 problem. And I've got hypotenuse, a short leg, and a long leg. So let's see. They give me the hypotenuse. I'll just write H right here. And what else do they give me?
The small leg.
They give me the short leg. So if you're thinking, let me start with that formula, I'll write it down. 14 equals 2 times 7. Oops, I meant to put equals. Did I get anywhere with that? That's true. But did I find out my other thing? No. So apparently I need to write down my other formula. Okay? The long leg equals the short leg times the square root of 3. So what is going on here?
I just touched something, it was fine.
Okay, my long leg's what I'm looking for. They call it X. My short leg is 7 square root of 3. And now this hand calculator, like same thing here. I don't need to solve for anything, so I'm just going to leave it. No dividing or anything needs to be done. So it's just 7 square root of 3. How do we feel on that one? Good-ish, yeah? Okay. When I get done, I'll make another copy for some of y'all. Okay, next we have number 6. This one, now we're getting into SOHCAHTOA, although this one's a little different. It wants me to find my angle. This is a calculator problem. All you have to do is type in your calculator. But what do you have to do to solve for that angle? You have to what? Inverse, yeah. You need to, if you want to put an x here, do that. You have to move the cosine. So what you do is cosine inverse of 8 over 18. Just type that in your calculator. What did y'all get on this one? 63.61. Everybody got B? Okay. Are we good with that? Okay. How's it going, Lily?
I'm okay as long as I can look at Chloe took like some notes saying like the opposite over adjacent or
Oh yeah, so that's what I'm about to get to, I think. The SOHCAHTOA.
that, like as long as I'm looking at that, I'm fine.
And actually Wednesday stuff, we got to go back over that again. I know we're quizzing on it tomorrow, but Wednesday we're going to go over all that again because then we have to flip them and do secant, cosecant, cotangent. Did we ever learn that? No. So anyway, all right. This one. All right, boys, are y'all ready? Okay, are y'all done? Okay. I know y'all are working on it, but I'm going to go over up here. Okay, sine and cosine. So if you write down sine is opposite over hypotenuse. That's the SOHCAHTOA. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. SOHCAHTOA. Okay? So, it wants me to start at A. It's telling you, start at sine of A. So if I write sine of A, they want me to write a little fraction. The sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse. 3 over 5. Everybody good with that? Then they want me to write cosine of A. They just want a ratio. That just means a fraction. So I'm going to write cosine of A. I'm going to figure out that one. I start at A. And cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's 4 over 5. And those are your two answers. Are we good with that one? Yes? Maybe? Okay.
Oh, you don't add, like, divided it out?
Oh, no. It just wants it as a ratio, so just leave it as 3 over 5 and 4 over 5. That's what it wants. Now on the next ones, I think it wants answers. Okay. I'll leave SOHCAHTOA right here on the side. Number A. Okay. On this one, it says use the trig ratios again. I'm going to use that SOHCAHTOA. And I'm starting at 50 degrees. You always start at your angle. They give me the angle this time, and it's 50. I need to decide, am I doing sine, cosine, or tangent with that angle? So it looks like I have opposite and what else? Adjacent. Which one of those has opposite and adjacent?
Tangent.
Tangent does. So I'm going to write it. Tangent of 50 equals, see, tangent of 50 equals opposite over adjacent. That's going to be 7 over x. Then what do we do? How do we solve? We either multiply or we have to switch and divide. On this one, what am I going to do? Switch them and then I'll just type it in. X equals 7 over the tangent of 50. Okay, I switched them and now I'll just type it in my calculator. What is,
5.9.
what'd you get?
5.9.
5.9. X is 5.9. And y'all look, does that make sense? If this side length is 7, 5.9 kind of makes, that seems like, if I got like 2,000, would that make sense? No. Okay, that looks like it'd be close. So, are we good with that one? And it tells you round your answer to the, I'm guessing, nearest 10th. Is that what it told us? Okay. Now, do I take off points? I should. I don't. College algebra, if they say thousandths place, you put 3 decimal places. Okay? If they will tell you, for those of you about to do college algebra, if they say a certain decimal, if you don't do exactly what they say, it's wrong. Whole thing. You can get the whole problem right. If you don't go to 10th place and it said, you get the whole thing wrong. So, anyway, get used to reading that. I'm not trying to scare you. All you do is just read what it asks. So, all right. The next one, number 9 and then 10. Number 9, it says find the value of x. So I'm going to start at my angle and let's figure out sine, cosine, or tangent. It's opposite and hypotenuse. So which one is that? That's up here at sine. So I'm going to do the sine of my angle equals opposite 17 over hypotenuse. So my x is in my denominator again, so I'll just switch it. So I get 17 divided by the sine of 32. What do we get on that one? 32.1. There you go. And it said tenths place. That says 32. Well, it's not going to erase. That's a 32.1. Okay. We're good on that one. Yeah? Alright. Then the last one. Okay, this one, again, I'm starting at my angle, which is 23. Is this one sine, cosine, or tangent? It's sine again, so I'm going to say the sine of 23 equals opposite, which is x, over the hypotenuse. Now this one looks different, so I solve it different. What do I do to get x by itself? Multiply by 19. And I'm just going to type that right here in my calculator. 19 times sine 23. What's your answer? 7.4. There you go. Alright, are you ready for our quiz smart? I do not want that. So your first grade this week will be your quiz smart.
I need an extra copy.
Okay, let me make one real quick. Do you want a different, do y'all want different numbers? Yes, for the answers. Okay. Give me just a second.
Is that gonna stay on the board? Did you say that already?
I did. I said I will.